So that might have been the thing that's gotten into my lungs, and that could cause Legionnaire's disease. So that might be an issue, but now we need to find a doctor. Hopefully he can take some x-rays and find out what the hell is wrong. We need to do something.
Meet Palle Bo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world.
My name is Palle Bo, and I'm a long-time radio producer. In 2013, I started planning to become a digital nomad and a full-time traveler. 3 years later, I had sold my house, my car, and all my furniture. And in July 2016, I set out on a quest to visit every country in the world. In this podcast, I'm taking you along on my journey, and I'm sharing my ups and downs and let you listen in to conversations with some interesting people I meet along the way.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
I'm still traveling with Edward, my young Danish travel companion, and we've been spending a few days in the small city of Tantan in the southern part of Morocco. Actually, we're in the Sahara Desert. My name is Palle Bo. Welcome to episode 114 of the Radio Vagabond podcast. Okay, now it's the day after I got my medicine, my over-the-counter painkillers and magnesium, and I don't think that it was enough. I posted on Facebook to my smart medicine clever friends back in Denmark and said, can you give me some advice on what to do? And within a few hours, more than 50 people have written, go see a doctor, go see a doctor. And since there is no qualified doctor here in this village, we're going now back to Tisnit, where we came from. There should be a good doctor there, and and if not, we will move all the way up to Agadir, which is another 3 hours, but that will be tomorrow. Then we'll be in Tisnit at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and hopefully we'll get a doctor, and he can look as if to find out if it is pneumonia or if maybe it's Legionnaire's disease. That could also be a thing. When we were staying in the hotel in Tisnit, we had 2 different rooms. The first night we had a room that smelled really, really bad from the bathroom, and Edward, he was getting short of breath because he thought it was some kind of fungus but I didn't like the smell, but still I took a shower, and that might have been very unhealthy for me. So that might have been the thing that's gotten into my lungs, and that could cause Legionnaire's disease. So that might be an issue, but now we need to find a doctor. Hopefully he can take some x-rays and find out what the hell is wrong. We need to do something. Here in Tantan, we've been hosted by Danish Beacon and Moroccan Mokhtar. Beacon is an adventurous woman that, when she retired from her work back in Denmark, decided to get a small van and drive south. First she went to Portugal and Spain, but it wasn't different enough. So one day she was in the southern part of Spain and looked at the ocean over to Morocco, and without knowing anything about the country, she decided to take the ferry over and drive south. For some reason she ended up way down here and met Mokhtar. First they became good friends, and after a while they became a couple. Mokhtar knows the Sahara Desert better than most people, as you'll hear more about in a minute. And he offered to take us for a drive there, but unfortunately that did not happen since we had the most rain this part has seen in many years, so it wouldn't be possible to drive there. And since I'm sick and needed to get to a doctor, we didn't have time to wait. In a few seconds you're going to hear a bit about Mokhtar's amazing life story. But first, a quick reminder that the Radio Vagabond podcast is supported in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotel rooms around the world. You should try it. It's pretty simple to use. Hotels25.com. Before we get on the bus back to Tisnit, Mokhtar shows us his workshop. He's a carpenter now, but he has a very interesting life story. I might call myself a nomad, but Mokhtar grew up as a real nomad. A Bedouin and a real nomad in the Sahara Desert, where his family were taking care of goats and just moving from place to place, looking for water and grass. Mokhtar, I'm recording this now. Now we're about to leave, and me and Edward, we're so grateful that you let us stay at your house.
I have to say again, you're very welcome.
Yeah, and the only thing is, I'm sad that we didn't get to do the drive into Sahara.
Your health is the first.
Yeah, my health is more important.
More important.
Yeah,
take care of yourself.
we were supposed to get a Land Rover and then drive into the desert to meet some of your old friends, but because it's been raining for the first time in a long time, it was too wet out there, and the Land Rover would get stuck, and we were going to wait, and then now we have to go to Tisnit. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen this time, but that gives us an excuse to come back.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me, because I also wanted to hear your story, can you, while we're waiting for the bus, tell me just a little bit about yourself? How did you grow up?
I grew up with my family. My family, they were as a nomad in Sahara, but they go into town 1975. 1975, I was 13 years old, so I've never been in school. I was in the mosque, Quran school.
What did you do how was your life the first 13 years?
The first 13 years, when I was around 6.5, 7 years old, I was my father was teaching me how to take care of the little sheep, the goats, the little goats. And when I'm 12 years old, my father also tried to teach me how to take care of camels and how to manage with them.
So me and Edward, we call ourselves digital nomads, but you were actually a real nomad.
Yes, I was a real nomad, but now
so
I'm
guessing that you didn't watch much TV when you were a child?
No, we don't have any TV, we don't have radio. We are living in Sahara, and we move from place to place. That's for our animals looking for the grass, for something to eat. Sometimes we move for looking for water.
Looking for grass and water in Sahara, that might be difficult.
Yes.
So you didn't know much about the rest of the world, really?
Before, I didn't know, but now I know.
Yeah.
Yes. When I grew up a little bit, when I was 15, we are in the city, and we have neighbors, and our neighbors...
That was in Agadir?
That was in Gulmim.
Okay.
And our neighbors, they have children, they go to school, and they build a relationship with those children, and they start to study with them. And I have one of my best friends, he's the one who gave me a big help to know how to read, how to write. He's right now he's a professor at the university in Marrakesh.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
He's teaching geology. Yeah.
Wow.
He's my best friend. His name is Marzouk Mohammed. Yeah. He helped me a lot, but I learn more when I go to Agadir when I'm 17 years old. I go to Agadir for learning my job to carpentry school. In Agadir, I found another world.
Yeah.
And I study more.
What was the world you found there?
It's different as my world before.
Yeah.
Yes, I meet different kind of people. I meet tourists. I meet the people from everywhere in the world. And I was lucky that have a chance to go and study my English at the American Center School.
Yeah.
And that was for free because at the time one of my older brother friend, he was English teacher, and his friend, he's the director of the American Center School. And suddenly one day I passed by, they were sitting in a coffee, eating, and they invited me to eat with them. So I started to say some English words, and the American guy said, "Do you want to learn English?" I said, "Yes." "Are you serious?" I said, "Yes, I want to learn English."
Yeah.
So he asked me to come with some papers, and I was at that school around 2 years. Yeah.
And your English is very, very good.
I don't think so. Not very good, but
compared to Moroccans our age, because you're just a few years older than me, and the young people in Morocco, they speak pretty good English, but when you get into the 50s, not a lot of Moroccans speak English.
No. I lost a lot of my English because after 2 years, I stopped going to school, and I finished my education as a carpenter, and I went to the factory for work, and I moved south of Morocco to Dakhla, Laayoune, Smara, Boujdour, and there are not so many people who speaking English that I can practice my English. So I lost a lot of my English. Yeah.
And you go to Denmark every summer, and one of the things you do is you're...
Yes, this last year was my 7th time going to Denmark, and working as a volunteer in a Roskilde festival. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
When is your birthday?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I did show you my identity card.
I did. That's why I'm asking.
And my passport.
It just says XXXX.
Yeah. XXXX 1962.
And you told me that you asked your mother, but what time of the year was it?
She was in the summertime and there was sandstorm.
Okay.
That's what she remember.
That is so funny. It's amazing how life can change, isn't it?
This is life. Has so many ups and downs.
Yeah. So glad to make friends with you. Imagine being born in the Sahara Desert, and the only indication of your birthday is, well, there was a sandstorm. I am truly happy and grateful that we got to spend some days with Bacon and Mokhtar in their house in the southern part of Morocco. And now we're backtracking and going back north to Tiznit. I need to get to a hospital. The website said that the bus would leave at 9:30. When we came to the bus stop, the sign in the window said it will leave at 10 a.m. And then the guy inside the office said, no, it will leave at 10:30. Well, the bus left at 10:45, and now it's 4 o'clock, and we're back in Tiznit after a long bus ride through the Sahara Desert up here to Tiznit. And now we're in front of the hospital waiting for our new Moroccan friend Omar that we met the other day, and he promised that he will come and help us translate and make sure that we speak to the right people and they understand that what they need to do. And he came just a few minutes after us, and together we went in, and it was really, really helpful having a local that speaks both Arabic and French, and it was truly very, very helpful. We came into this small hospital. It wasn't that big, what I saw, with a lot of people there. I was sent into a reception room with 4 beds. In one of the beds there was a woman, a very old woman. I would guess she was around 90 years old, curled up in a bed, in obviously in pain, just saying no, no, no in Arabic. It was heartbreaking to see. Shortly after that, what I thought was a doctor came in a white hospital uniform, asking me what the problem was, and I told him, and then he sent him in to the real doctor, who was just wearing regular clothes. I was sent into this small doctor's office, and there were two other people standing in there waiting, and he listened to my chest with a stethoscope, 5 breaths, and said, "Yep," and sat down behind his desk and started writing up a prescription. You know how doctors' handwriting is. It's always very, very. I think it's the same all over the world. That the doctor's handwriting is something that only pharmacists can read. So it looked like Arabic letters, but I think he wrote it in French, because I could understand a little bit of it. And then I said, "But what about X-ray?" And Omar translated, and I said, "Because I was told it was a good thing to get X-rays." And he just said, "Yeah, you can have that," and sent me into an X-ray room. And that took only around 10-15 minutes. The whole thing was around 45 minutes. And while I was having my X-rays taken, Omar went out and paid for my hospital bill. It was not that much. It was around 140 dirhams. But still, he didn't need to pay, even though, because I have insurance, and he didn't need to pay it. And I told him I tried to talk him out of it, but then I think it's a part of the culture, so I just thanked him very much, and felt very grateful. That's what he does, because now we're his friends, and he feels he has to take care of me. It's funny. It's a very different culture from what I'm used to back in Denmark, but yeah, makes you think, doesn't it? I know for a fact that even though he's got a good business going with his butcher shop, I'm sure I make a lot more money than he does. And still he insisted on paying. He even said today that if we need anything, money, anything, that we should just let him know, and he will be glad to help us. And he doesn't expect anything in return. And then at night we went to his butcher and bought some meat, some different kinds of meat that he made himself, and we went next door to the grill and had it barbecued, and he sat down and ate with us, and it was very, very good. As we were sitting there, we learned that both our Moroccan SIM cards had no more data on it, so we asked him if there was an Orange store here in Tisnit, and he said, "Yeah, we'll go there tomorrow. It's not that far." And he said, "Well, you can just tell us where it is and we can go there ourselves." No problem, I'll go with you. So this morning when we had breakfast, he came and picked us up, and we walked to the old part of Tisnit, into the Medina here, and found an orange shop and had some data put on our Moroccan SIM cards. And if you're ever traveling anywhere, please do that. Bring an extra phone and get a local card, because here it's very, very cheap. We started by getting 10 gigabytes when we were in Marrakesh, and that was around 11 euros. And here we just had 5 gigabytes put on, and that was
4.5 euros or something like that. So it's very cheap and it's very fast. It's much faster than any internet Wi-Fi you can find in a restaurant or in a hotel. It's normally very bad, but get a local SIM card and get some data on it, and you will be good to go. And so do that. But that took us a couple of hours doing that, and he did that also for us, and then said, come to my apartment this afternoon and we will have some couscous. So at 4 o'clock we went to his apartment that's above the butcher shop, and we thought that now we were going to just sit around the table with him and his wife and his son and have some couscous. We came into the apartment, not very big apartment, but very nice. And there was a living room with a couch and a small coffee table. And on that table was a huge plate with a lot of couscous, with vegetables and chicken, and only 3 plates.
With couscous. One more or no? Some more?
No, definitely.
Just this one. Nice, huh? Very nice.
So then the 3 of us were sitting around there. His wife was in the kitchen with the son, his 2-year-old, and it was just the 3 of us. And we were kind of wondering, why isn't she sitting here? But I guess that's also part of the Islamic culture, that that's not something you do. It's now the men are eating couscous, and here we are. At some point when we finished eating, the son came in and we played with him, and he's like a 2-year-old boy, like any 2-year-old boy. He's full of energy and very playful.
Oh, this is a gift. This is a good gift.
From Edo. Edo. It's very strong.
We also met his wife, but only briefly. It seems like a very, very nice woman. And while we were playing with his son, he said, I just have to pray now. So he put out a blanket and started praying. It's Friday here, so he had one of his prayers that he needed to do, being a Muslim. And he did that while we were in the room, and Edward and I, we were playing with his son. It's been truly amazing meeting a local Muslim guy here in Morocco, and it's just so authentic, and this is the real Morocco.
This episode is brought to you in part by this website called hotels25.com. If you're a regular listener, you have heard me mention this before, and I can't say this enough. This is a cool website. It helps you find the cheapest hotel rooms around the world. Hotels25.com. You should try it out. It actually works.
This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
The plan from here is that tomorrow at 9 o'clock at night, we get on a bus and take the long journey down to Dakhla in Western Sahara, or Moroccan Sahara, as they say here in Morocco. And it's a long ride. We start at 9 p.m. and we will be there at 2 p.m. the next day. So we're driving all night. It's gonna be rough, but let's see how it goes.
So now we're going on a 17-hour bus ride all the way down to Dakhla in the middle of Sahara. And in my condition, am I capable of doing that kind of journey, being this sick? Join me next week when the plans change again. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. Somehow. See ya.